And we're going to start the conversation. Before going into the methodology, we're going to also want from you one more thing. If you can all please turn on your video, because we want to take a collective photo. Thank you so much for being so responsive. Hold on just a moment. Thank you so much. I will give the floor right now. Sorry, I have to continue. Can we go back to the PowerPoint presentation, please? Okay. So just a few words about this project that brought us all together. It's a European project. It's a Horizon 2020 project. It brings together a variety of partners who came up with different objectives. Objectives that are meant to overall support the farming sector in Europe on a long term with proposals, with creating connections between farmers, with coming up with ideas that can inspire each other to better access markets or to better influence public decisions for the interest of the farmers, but also the consumers and all the actors who are involved in the food and agriculture sector. So the first objective is about drawing up solutions, building bonding between farmers and different actors active in the sector to ensure cohesiveness. Many times we don't know about each other's vision, about each other's work. So it's projects like this that create common spaces that is allowing this these exchanges. And then the second objective is a bit more specific for building connection between larger networks who are active on market and marketing issues, but also with looking at the weaknesses that they have, trying to analyze what are the tips and tricks that can help improve the better access to the market. And continuing on with a third objective, it's referring to developing ties with different entities, different decision makers, government agencies, which need to hear what are the voices of the farmers saying and the voices of the producers and cooperatives saying for a better future, for better and more efficient public policies. And the fourth objective goes in the same line with the third objective. Is it's looking on a long term how these views of the farmers and of the people active in the food and agriculture sector can be used on a longer term in public policies processes. If we could go now to the next slide, just a few information about the partners. You can see there a big variety of partners from the entire Europe. There's also a map indicating the diversity of partners, both from Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, and so on. There are examples of farmers organizations like Sindicato Labrego Galego or the COAG, the farmers organization, both from the Spanish state. There is also a farmers organization from the UK, Land Workers Alliance, or a farmers organization from Romania, where I come from, Eco Ruralis. There's also the example of a United Nations institution. We have as partner FAO, which is the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. It's the general headquarters from Rome that is partnering in this project, and it's been really supportive for promoting and giving access of the project to discussions and dialogues with the decision makers. We also have cooperative groups, like, for example, Lega Coop Agriculture or the Norwegian Agriculture Cooperative. And another example of partners is services providing organizations like the one from Republic of Moldova, or there's a partner from Hungary providing consultancy services for farmers from Hungary. And of course, we have NGOs, various NGOs participating, as well as institutions, academic institutions like universities. We have 2 universities in this project, the University of Cordoba and of course the Wageningen University from the UK, who is actually the coordinator of the entire project. So this would be it in very, very brief words about the project. And I would now give the floor to Andrea Ferrante, our facilitator, to continue with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramona. It's a big pleasure to meet you all. As you can understand, it's extremely interesting to do a youth forum, but a youth forum online is a challenge. So we need to make this forum something that it's interesting for all of us, for all of you for sure, is an opportunity for all of us to know. I know each other much better. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read the bio of all of you. Are extremely interesting. You are very active people and with all very nice experience to share. And we really need to make this possible. That will be not easy. So we need really to have a lot of commitment, because it's not easy with these kind of tools. Although they are improving, it's not easy. So this is a bit our first introduction. So we will give you not a lot of time, because you are more or less more than 20 now online. And let's try in a couple of minutes to give for sure your name, your country of origin, and the main things that you have already shared in the bio, because as you know, most probably not all of you have had the opportunity to read, and it's extremely interesting that you give what are the most important things that you want to share now. But remember and remind that it's not the only opportunity. We will have several opportunities to speak. So now let's try, because it's one of the biggest challenge, let's try to keep our time. So to facilitate also, because it's really the first time, and also the pronunciation of the name, usually it's always horrible. So I tend to say names in a very, very strange way. So we will follow the order of the country, and that will be much easier. You have there all the countries that are involved. Unfortunately, I think that not everybody is online in this moment, but let's try. I know that Albania is online, so I think that we can start from there. Ghent, is your turn. You have a couple of minutes. Let's try and let's introduce yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone, and I'm glad to meet you online this time. My name is Ghent Emiray. I am from Albania. And as a young farmer, I chose in my bio to describe my farming as digital farming. I'm trying since, for a period of 5 years, I have been engaged in some NGOs to develop the concept of smart villages in our rural areas distant, areas which are geographically isolated, and that they need some support in the process of becoming digital, or the process of becoming smart, I could say so. This is a short introduction. I guess in the upcoming weeks or in the workshops, we will have more time to talk about things. So thank you.
Thank you, Ghent. Perfect timing. And I think that we can continue from Austria. Anneke, you have to unmute yourself, the micro.
Thanks. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello from Austria. My name is Anneke. I'm living on a small farm collective. We are here since 3 years. We bought this farm with direct credits. So this is was our answer on how to access land when you don't want to marry a farmer. So yeah, we're having bees and vegetables, and yeah, about me. I'm born in Germany, but living since a few years in Austria, and active in the Austrian Via Campesina organization ÖBV. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And now it's the turn from Belgium. Jens, if you are online. Maybe I don't see you. Okay, then we will continue with the following country. That after Belgium, we have Bosnia and Herzegovina. Ninoslav, I think I saw you.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Loud your voice, please.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Ninoslav. I am from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I was working like maybe 10 years abroad, lots of cities, lots of different places, and I learned to love nature and when I came home. So I'm a small farmer. I have a greenhouse on the village now, and I'm going every day there, growing vegetables. I'm planting some fruits, some sustainable homestead on my own, so something like that. So that's from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And following you is Michaela from Bulgaria. Are you online? Michaela? Maybe not. Maybe not. So after Michaela, that is not online, we have Franjo, that I saw you from Croatia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Franjo Tojic and I come from Croatia. I live on a small, well, not small, the biggest island in Croatia. It's the island of Cres. I have a small scale family farm, but it's my, let's say, part job. Even though we have bees, sheep, we have some agriculture, and most of the product we sell to the tourists during the tourism season, but we have also the possibility to work with local farmers and associations. The moment I'm very active in the local shepherd association, and what else? I have 32 years, and I was very excited when I was chosen to be a part of this group, even though I'm a little bit, let's say, disappointed because we can't meet in real person. And that's all for me at the moment.
Thank you, thank you. And afterwards we have Cyprus. Nikiforos. You are right. No, you have to unmute yourself. Not yet.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
All right, I had the headphones on. Okay. Yeah, I am Nikiforos. I am from Cyprus, on the western part of the island. It's like the only part of the island where we can grow bananas here, and it's one of the few places on European Union soil where bananas grow. And I happen to have a small family farm here. I came to managing the farm on accident, so I don't have much experience as a farmer. But yeah, when I heard about this project group, I thought it would be a good idea to, you know, to make some connections and to learn some things. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Perfect. Then thank you very much. Really, thank you very much. And afterwards, it's Peter from Czech Republic. If I'm correct, Peter is there.
Yeah, hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, very well. With a fantastic landscape there.
So, hi, I'm Peter. I'm from Czech Republic. I have a family farm. I'm working with my father, my mother, and that's pretty much it. We have like 150 cows, 300 hectares, and I'm coming to you directly from the work. So you can see something there. So I don't have so very much time for you today. I will be signing off soon, but I'm happy to see you all, and I hope we can really meet in person someday, perhaps. And that's pretty much it from me for now.
That's great. Also, the tractor, it's quite nice.
Yeah, I hope so. It's brand new, so.
Okay, then you can help us maybe when we will talk about policies and if this machinery have been a bit supported by the European Union.
Yes. We've been using all the programs that are available. Right?
Perfect.
Getting all the money from the Union as we can.
Perfect. Then is Alina there from Denmark?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Alina, please.
So I'm Alina, I'm 26. I am from Romania, but I've been living in Denmark, Copenhagen for 7 years. And I'm really new at this, so I've just started a small farm, like a collective farm with my friends in the city. So we're doing urban farming, but urban gardening, but it's still very new. So I'm also here to learn, and it would be cool for in the future to live in a collective as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then afterwards, let's see who should be afterwards. We should have Maria from Estonia. I think I saw you.
Yeah, hello everybody. I would like to say it's nice to be here. I'm organic farmer in Estonia, in South Estonia. We are growing crops and buckwheat. Also, my parents' farm having sheep. And also I'm a board member of Estonian Young Farmer Association. So it gives me quite large access to communicate many young farmers in Estonia. Approximately 2 years ago, I started more farming. Before that, I worked for Ministry of Agriculture. But yeah, I believe young farmers can do a lot and produce very good quality food. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are very happy that we have a very good quality of food. That is what makes us very happy. So I think that we don't have in this moment Finland. Jan is not online, but we have Grégoire from France.
Hello, can you hear me? All right.
Very well.
Can you
very
hear
well.
me? Yes. Okay.
Very
great.
well, Grégoire.
Okay, glad to meet you. So I'm Greg Mende. I live in Notre-Dame-des-Landes in west of France. I became a farmer through the struggle against an airport project here in Notre-Dame-des-Landes that we succeeded to oppose to. I take care of cows from a local type. I'm engaged here in the regional group for organic farming, and I've been interested in the bond project through the youth, the national youth section of La Confédération Paysanne. What I hope is that I can share visions about especially two issues that are sort of big issues here, as like access to land and access to farms, and how to organize collectively to facilitate access to land and to farms.
Okay. Thank you very much. Indeed,
Welcome.
we will try to do all that. If you have seen in the workshop that we will organize all together, that we will participate, we will indeed exactly address also those issues, we hope, all together. And I think now it's the turn of Greece, as I don't see Germany. So it's Greece.
Hello.
Natasha.
Can you hear me?
Who? Yes, we can hear you very well.
Good. So hello to everybody. I'm Natasha from Greece. A friend of me and I try to work together since 2015. And so the vision for our farm was an organic farming, that we grow legumes and seasonal vegetables. We follow a lot of permacultural techniques and physical traditional techniques. And we grow lentils, chickpeas, seasonal vegetables, and almonds, and some fruits. And that's all for us.
Well, it's a lot, eh? It's not a small
Yeah, it's a big farm.
It's a lot. Huge work.
You can see from the color.
And so next is from Hungary, Borbala, if I'm correct.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
So hello, I'm Bori from Hungary, and my farming experience is not so exciting, as I only moved to this village where I'm living 1.5 years ago, and we will have a small family farm. It's very basic at the moment. We are just growing some vegetables and fruits, but I'm also working for a small Hungarian organization called Magház, or Seed House in English, that works with agrobiodiversity and the conservation of land races, and also how to take them to the markets and make more people to know them, and make more people to know organic farming and this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm here also, but I have to add that I'm not going to be able to join you next week because I will be on a permaculture design course, so I can only join this session today. Thank you.
That will be a pity for us, because for sure we have always to learn from all of you. So, but indeed it's extremely interesting things that you will do next week. So we would love to be also there, most probably. And I think that he just joined from Belgium, Hans, is correct? Did you?
Yes, but my video doesn't work.
That it's not an issue today, but next time we want to see you.
Yeah, okay.
But if you can introduce yourself, a very short introduction.
I'm 30 years old, have a family with 3 kids. Wife goes out working. And I have a farm, 4 acres, some nature reserves for our sheep also, but most of all we have milking goats, around 80 milking goats, half acre of vegetables, all agroforestry, so it's all fruit trees on the farm. Have around 10 sows, pigs, female pigs, where we grow for meat production. And we have a shop in the nearest big city, Brugge, and we do 2 markets with our products. We deliver also to restaurants, and we deliver to other shops.
Wow, that's a lot indeed.
Yes.
So our compliment for all those activities, and thank you very much to join with us. And indeed, with this idea that we are always in this learning mood, I think that we have a lot to learn. So next is from Ireland, Ben.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm a first-time farmer. With my wife, my dad, and myself. We're converting a disused dairy farm into an organic vegetable farm for natural dye purposes, producing textiles, dyes, pigments, and mordants from the land. We are inspired by the fiber shed model of soil to soil production to create a local community of growers, weavers, and dyers, makers, and end users or consumers. We're working on mixed land. There's 1.5 acres of mixed forest and 2.5 acres of arable green grassland, which we're working on half of that at the moment. Our aims are to regenerate the soil in an area that's suffering from a lot of over-fertilization and expansion, and to create yeah, a community that's brings people closer to the land, because that's a big issue here in rural Ireland. Clothes are a really powerful way to do that. So yeah, that's where we are.
Thank you. Thank you. You are a very interesting position, let's say. Very interesting. So as we are missing a few countries now, we have indeed, if I'm correct, we have Luxembourg, Svenja. If it is correct how I pronounce your name, Svenja from Luxembourg. Yes, it's you.
Hello. Hello, my name is Svenja Taylor. I'm from Luxembourg. We have a small family farm in Luxembourg with milking cows, vegetables, and a little self-service shop. And Luxembourg is a little country, and every day, we work every day with the other countries. And I think it's very important to work together.
Indeed, indeed, Venian. We totally agree on that. We need to work even more together. And I think it's an interesting moment also for Europe and for the wider Europe in that sense. So thank you very much. And next from Malta is Carl.
Hi, can you hear me?
Very well.
I am Karshay. We have a broiler farm. We're 22,000 heads on the farm. I took my father's farm, like I'm managing care of it now for 5 years. I am a full-time farmer, and we have some fields also. We use straw as a bedding for the chickens. So we are like a mixed farming sort of. Of course, we don't have much land. We are the smallest EU member state, so we are a very small country. I've been visiting EU countries and other farmers, so we are a much different scenario. But it's interesting to hear that also other countries have problem to land access, so it's not only our problem. So it's a pity we didn't meet in person, but as circumstances as are. So that's all for me. So.
Thank you, Carl. Indeed, land access is not the problem only in Malta. We totally agree with that. So for sure, and thank you very much for that. Next is definitely from Moldova, Mariana.
Hello, everybody. I'm
Yes.
Mariana from Republic of Moldova. 5 years ago, both with my husband, we quitted the city for a house to live in the rural area. And in the same time, because things happen in parallel, we founded an NGO called Grădina Moldovei, that's mean Garden of Moldova. And the aim of this NGO is to promote agroecology. So we are the first agroecology center in Moldova. And the garden that we are managing, it's the garden around the house. It's just 3,000 square meters. So we are very little, small scale farmers. But anyway, it's enough to produce all our food, but also to have some extra and so on. But the most important, this garden serves to multiply and to produce seeds, because the first pillar of this NGO is to create a seed bank, because we lost almost all the varieties, local varieties in Moldova. And actually we need really to face to this lake of good peasant seeds. And that's why we created the seed bank. So we are open for exchanges or sharing seeds in the future when the situation will be a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana. Indeed, seed will be one of the hot issues that we will discuss, as I think we have a common problem to access to very good seeds and our traditional seeds. And the legislation in that sense is quite complex in our part of the world. So next, from the Netherlands, Jeva.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Jeva. I am from the Netherlands. And practically I work at a couple of different farms. I work in the north for a small sort of care farm where we also have a bakery. And we recently actually set up a community seed bank for color, so for dye plants as well, which is interesting because I heard that reflected in other stories as well. And I work for a 17 hectare farm that is focused on culinary herbs, but it's mixed. So we also have cows and sheep and chickens and other things, and we sell at the market and to restaurants. And then since 2 weeks, I now also work for a traditional goat farm. So they make raw cheese there. And then theoretically, I'm working a lot on how social justice meets farming, and specifically the topic of exploitation of the land, of labor, of farmers themselves and animals, and how we can, if it's possible, to farm without exploitation, and specifically also the commons and the approach of the commons to lands, but also to sea, to water, all of that. So yeah, that's me.
That's very interesting, Jeva. Thank you very much. And this is what is extremely important. As you said, there is other experience that you are interested. Ben from Ireland just talked about what you were talking about dye. And this is what we want. We want to create connection. We want that you start to talk also bilaterally. We are creating in somehow a platform where you will talk and we will engage yourself. You will exchange also beyond what are the moments that we are all together. This is extremely important. This is what we really want to achieve in this long period that we will share, because we will have many things to do in the next week, but also in the following month. So this is a very interesting example. Next, indeed, after the Netherlands, we have Norway. Øystein? I think I saw you.
Hello.
Here it is.
Hi, I am Øystein. And this is my wife,
Hello.
Inga. This is my son, Eston. And this is my cows. I'm a bit stressed because my cows, they fled. We have a GPS on them. So for 1 hour ago, they were going down from the mountain where we stay. So I have not been listening to all you said. I'm sorry.
But we are recording. Don't worry, you will catch up.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. In Norway, we have a very good cooperatives concerning meat, milk, corn, wheat. Yeah, the cooperatives in the agriculture is very strong. And it's a big strength when the big shops want to buy milk. We are so many and so strong that we can discuss the price in a different way if we were all by ourselves. But because Norway is so rich, we can buy very cheap food from outside, from Sweden, Germany, Netherlands, and that's a big problem for us. It's trying to farm here because the prices are so high. So our milk is more expensive than the milk from outside. Yeah. I have to run into the forest now.
Okay, but you were concise and you already touch a very, very hot topic. And so thank you very much, really, because you have gave us a lot of very good things to think about it. And we will come back on that for sure when we will address also the issue of market, access to market. And indeed, as we all know, this project, the name is Bond. So in fact, the idea is really to bond, to link, and the cooperative are the history and the culture of this way to work together. Indeed, in a very different way. We will call it cooperative or networks or whatever we want, because we have different culture and different systems. But how to bond is really our issue and why we should improve our capacity to work together. And indeed, as Austin said, Norway is an incredible example in that sense. And I think you made immediately a very interesting point. So next on my list, but I really don't, it's from Portugal, Antonio, although I don't.
Hello, I'm called Antonio, but everybody calls me Tommy, so that's why I don't appear. That's why I don't appear as Antonio. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Very well.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Antonio. Everybody calls me Tommy. I'm 30 years old and I'm a full-time farmer. I breed cows from a local, from an autochthonous breed, and I do it alongside my dad extensively. So our cows are all year round outside. Let's see. We recently got a life project approved, which is going to start in October. And one of the most important things is the carbon sequestration, putting carbon into the soil. And the fact that our cows are in the mountains, in the common lands, it helps also with biodiversity. And well, I think it's basically that's it.
Well, carbon sequestration is not a minor issue, so I think it's a lot. So I have to apologize. I think I jumped Poland and Lukacs. And although I know the alphabet,
Hello, everyone.
so I'm sorry for that.
No problem, no problem. So hello, I'm Lucas, and also like almost all for you. I think I am a farmer. But what is more, I'm also something like independent consultant. So usually, because I was working previously in banking, especially agriculture banking, IT and new technologies in agriculture. Now, since 1 year, I'm working remotely from my farm when I'm farming with my family on 250 hectares of arable land in eastern Poland, close to point between Ukraine and Belarus, on the most eastern part of Poland. So now in the time of COVID, nothing changed. in my life, because I'm still sitting on my farm, and you know, in the day going on the field, and on the night working on some projects, Excel, some PowerPoints, or other project management related to IT, European funds and finance. I'm sure that during our meetings I would share a lot of knowledge and insights about economics, financial aspects, and also how to properly gather society in the internet, because I'm also a founder of biggest internet group for farmers in Polish internet, with almost 8,000 members of Polish farmers. So that they are representing something like 40% of the food production in Poland. So I'm Lukas from Eastern Poland, to sum up, and I'm specialized in arable farming, pig farming, and I'm also very likely to share the knowledge about European funds, finance, IT, and new technology, especially in a scope of New Green Deal, for example.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of very interesting issue that you address in such short time. And indeed, we are all very multitasking. And you represent in that sense really how we have to be multitasking. From now, the so-called hosting country, although we are online, but Romania is the hosting country. So now it's your turn. Brindusa.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Brandusha. I am based in the west of living on a developed small farming project, 2020. Before that, I studied development. I thought it's better to do it from inside a village, so I came to live here. It's not my native place. I am from Romania, but I didn't know many people where I moved with my partner. And it took a long time to build our place, and we're still building our food production. He's working off farm. I am part-time working on the farm, and next year I will be a farmer. So I'm very excited about it. And I am aiming to do a vegetables with a justice component, that people that have lost income or that have low income can also eat healthy, because that's a human right. And our farm is half a hectare, veg, fruit trees, poultry, chickens, and we are learning every year, developing new systems and everything. Yeah, as regenerative as we can. That's our objective. And I'm involved in the peasant movement in Romania 5 years ago, and I try to advocate in this space. Thank you. I'm very excited to meet you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Absolutely important, and it's so interesting your stories. No, you have all of you. You have a very interesting story coming from pure family farming, or having a background in, let's say, urban area and then moving. It's very interesting, this diversity, and we will use this diversity in the coming days and months. But afterwards, we have Slovenia, and from Slovenia, Eponine. Slovakia, sorry. Slovakia. I'm really sorry. Are you there? Yes.
Okay. So I'm Eponine. I'm from Belgium, but I live for 5 years in Slovakia, so I'm representing Slovakia. I'm working for an organization that have a little farm, and I'm working with volunteers. We invite them here to discover a simple life in countryside, and we have 10 goats and also a big garden to produce most of the food we eat during the year. And yeah, and I would like in the future to make from farming a living. No, it's like just for a small group of people. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Eponine. extremely, and let's hope that more and more people comes to the rural area to understand better how things are going. Because sometimes we have the idea that people have no idea what is happening in the rural area. Now from Slovenia, Aleš. No. No, we don't have Aleš, I think. I'm sorry. But I think that Leonardo from Italy has joined us in the meanwhile. I'm correct.
Hello.
Yes, I'm correct. Benvenuto.
Yeah, hello. Grazie. Hello, I'm Leonardo. I'm from Italy. I'm from the south. I have a farm that my ancestor gave it to me. And I reproduce all the kind of wheat, local, and I buy stone meal. So with this wheat, I produce organic flour. I'm very interested to increase the local biodiversity, but also the correlation between the young farmers. And I think another important aspect is the organic farming, because I think it's the future of the European agriculture.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for today, we all spoke. I'm right. There is no one left. Yes. Okay. So first of all, I think it's extremely interesting, no, hearing all of you. No, we have a very different background, maybe a lot of things in common, but also a lot of new things to share. And as I said before, we really need to enter in this mood to listen each other. I know that it's very difficult online, but listening and then try to enter in contact. So really use this opportunity to build, to bond, to build contacts, and use this opportunity also to develop more what are your different knowledge, and also being free not only to involve us, the facilitators, the expert, but between you. So this is the methodology. Have always in mind that our methodology is that the knowledge is in your hands, and we want that this knowledge that is already in your hands flow between you. That is extremely important that we have in mind. But let's have a bit an idea of the team. So I will introduce a bit more on myself. I'm Andrea Ferrante. I will facilitate most of the activities and be an expert also on the workshop on innovation and creativity. And then we have, as expert, we have for the first workshop on policies, on food and agriculture policies, Geneviève Savigny from France, a leader of Confédération Paysanne, one of the most important farmers organization in France, and a member of La Via Campesina, European Coordination Via Campesina. And for the second workshop will be with us as expert Jyoti Fernandez from Land Worker Alliance. That is also one of the partners of the Bond Project. Jyoti has extremely long experience on access to market activities. And then for sure, for our third workshop, we will have Ramona that introduced this meeting today, and is, as she already said, she's a leader of the European Coordination Via Campesina, and of her organization, the hosting organization Eco Ruralis. And then that you don't see now, but is the pillar of all the things that we are doing, is Raluca Dan, that in the next and following meeting, maybe you will have also the opportunity to see and hear her fantastic voice. And then we can go to the following. So this is our team. And as I said, we have some tools for you to keep you in connection, for sure, the website, but for sure the social media, the Bond Facebook group. You can widely use that, but we really encourage you to get in touch and use all the fantastic social that everyone has, and WhatsApp and so on, or whatever you have. Let's talk about the methodology of the upcoming teams and workshop, because this is a bit tricky. Then for sure we will have a bit of time to question and answer. So please, for sure, this presentation will be shared. So if you want to take some notes, but you will have this presentation for you. So we can go in deep on the methodology. So first of all, our proposal is that we are dividing, as we are doing 4 workshops, and you have all understood that you will not be in the 4 workshops. Everyone can participate to 1. Or special case, you can also ask to participate in more than 1, for sure. But in principle, we divided you on the base of from where you come from, the gender, your experience, in 4 main groups. Those 4 main groups are linked to the 4 workshops that you have already. So you can see and you can note yourself that you know already, but you can see who is with you in the group. So you were already aware in which group you were. For example, let's say Carl from Malta, you were in group 4. Now you can see that with you, you have from Bulgaria, from Croatia, Estonia, Montenegro, Serbia, Spain, Finland, and Albania. Those will be the people that will be with you in the group, for example. But this is okay, as Ramona said, the power presentation is already on the Bond project website, and so you can have directly access. So it's important that you start to, because why is important? We can go to the next slide. It's important that you start to know with who you are, because we will have those 4 workshops. You know already very well what are the themes that we will address. So 20th of July, so next Tuesday, and very important, those workshops are a bit longer than the webinar that we are doing today, because today, maximum in 2 hours, we should be done. Those webinars are a bit longer. They will take 3 hours. We know that it's a very long time, but we will try to make it more participative as possible. We will have also pause, so don't worry, but please reserve 3 hours from 2 to 5 or whatever you are in your time zone, for sure. So what we will say, we will start on Tuesday. Tuesday, where do we, as young farmers, this is the title, it's not me. Where do we, young farmers, fit in the EU food and farming policy for the future? So in this case, you will have expert Geneviève Savigny. As I said, I will be the facilitator. And now we will see how we organize each workshop, because this is the extremely important things. The other dates, I think, that are already very clear, because you all know where you fit. So after Tuesday, we will go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day there will be a different workshop, and we will develop all the different issues. The second workshop will be how can we develop markets for the next generation farmers. The third workshop will be about access, the famous how do the rights to natural resource ensure a viable future for young farmers. This is all about the access that we started already to talk, access to land, and how the rights issue can be an important fundamental tool for us. Then, finally, Friday, we will address what is innovation and creativity for us. This is extremely important because under innovation, and we already heard some of you that are already extremely involved, and it's extremely interesting. And let's see how our creativity as young farmers can be an element of innovation in the farming system in Europe, in our region. So that will be, but then we will come back on the thematic indeed. And as you see, the expert, I already said who are the experts. So Geneviève Savigny for the first one, Jody Fernandez from Land Worker Alliance on the one on markets, that it's extremely interesting as all of them, but you can really understand how diversified can be the access to market, and already your experience, the one that you already shared very fast, has given us a first example of diversity of access to market. And then Ramona indeed will be the expert of our third workshop. Ramona has an incredible experience in this sector, so we are really happy to have her as expert. And the fourth will be run by me, and in this case we will shift with Ramona, will help us as facilitator. But let's go to the next. In the next slide you will understand how we work, how is structured this discussion. The discussion is structured like that. First of all, we have those 3 hours, as I said. We have the introduction, and this is important, will not be made by us. It will be made by you. 2 of you will introduce the day. And we will see how then everyone that attend to the workshop has a different role. And then we will go back on that. But 2 of you, and then we will tell you who are the 2 of you that we are proposing, will introduce the theme. So having in mind, for example, the first theme, we will have 2 of you that are in the group 1 that will share from now to Tuesday to make a 5-minute presentation. So already you will have to talk between you, because you have to decide together to make this 5-minute presentation. 5 minutes can be 6, but cannot be 20, just to be clear. We need to respect timing. So let's be creative, do as you prefer. What is important for you? What is extremely important for you? That you have some background documents. All of you, and especially the 2 that has to prepare the introduction, can access to the documents that are sent to you or are available for each theme. But beside the document, there are videos. So you will have a short video that will introduce you. So you will have some element that can support you to do the introduction. Then the expert, the people that we have seen before, they will have 20 minutes. So they will not have 3 hours. It will be short. It's 20 minutes. Then we will ask to all of you, all the attendants to the workshop has to react, and they have 1 minute. In this way, 1 minute, you can choose. You can make a comment or you can make a question. That it's no problem. You decide what you want to do. A comment, you agree, you don't agree, or you have something to add on what was said by the expert, or you can make a direct question to the expert, something that you want to have clarified, or some curiosity that you have, but all of you will say something. So you have to be prepared to say something, and you have 1 minute. Then the expert will reply to your comments and your questions. and then the facilitator will wrap up. It will not be a conclusion. It will be a wrap up in the sense that the facilitator will highlight the main points that have been discussed and raised by all of you. Why that? Because then we have a pause and then we have more or less a bit less than 1 hour, most probably, to share. Then you have more time. You have more than 1 minute. And on the main points that we highlighted before, then each of you, and that is compulsory, each of you has to start to think on those main points and saying his opinion. And then through the note taker and the facilitator, we will have another pause, and then we will start in the last hour to agree to something that it's still a draft, but agree on some specific proposal. So it will be a kind of working time, very, very, I mean, you need to be involved. So this is why we ask you to participate for all the 3 hours, because otherwise it doesn't work. If you attend only the 2nd hour, it will be useless. Or if you miss the 3rd hour of our webinar, we will have an issue because we cannot really define some proposal. So it's extremely important. I know that it's really demanding, but this is why we didn't ask you to attend to all the workshop, but everyone has to attend only to 1 workshop. And then indeed, we will have later on in September, when we will meet again all together to rediscuss all the different elements. So it doesn't mean that if you attend to the workshop number 1, you cannot make comments on what will be the outcome of workshop 4 or the other way around. So this is extremely important. This is very demanding. It's 3 hours of work. It's a lot. And we will not ask you more than that. But we need that in those 3 hours, you are really there. We need your fantastic, clever mind, because this is the moment that you have to really give your thoughts and share your thoughts publicly. Then what I say, it's extremely important that you continue and you use this opportunity to build bond between all the different participants. And for sure, you will have a dynamic in the small working group for each workshop, but you can use also listening to the experience of the others. We know that we have a very different culture and we have very different farming experience. We are going from farms of less than 1 hectare to farms to 300 hectares. Very different, but we have, everyone has something to learn from each other. So if this is clear, and then you will make all the questions that you want, we can go to the next slide, where is the proposal of your role. So this is a proposal. And we put the name of the country. Sorry, this is for maybe not so, a bit impersonal. You don't represent your country, you represent yourself for sure. So don't be stressed on the fact that you are the permanent representative of Ireland in this UN context. It's not that the issue, but it's more because we need to be, sometimes we need to facilitate the understanding of each other. And especially in this moment that we don't know each other so well. But I really hope that at the end of this process, we will call each other with their name, with their surname. We will not call Antonio, but we will call him Tommy, and so on. So those are the things that we need to do in this period, because we really need to enter in this better contact. Also because it's really interesting what you all said till now, and it was so short, but already so full of meaning. So please read and find yourself. I hope that you can find yourself everywhere. And let's say, what is the role? And now I will explain the role that are. As you can see, there are 4 main roles that we will assign in each working group. So introduction will be the person, as I explained before, that will introduce, the one that they have the 5 minutes to introduce the workshop. So this means that now, immediately, and this you will start in the next few minutes, from Austria and Romania, you should start to talk each other and start to think on how to introduce the first workshop that will be next Tuesday. You don't have a lot of time, I'm sorry. You have really, really not a lot of time, but it's like that. And then this is the same for from Greece and Norway. Sorry, because in this moment I cannot see your name, so I'm going through the country. I'm sorry for that. Natasha, if I remember well, from an Oystein from Norway. So, and this means that you need to enter in contact. This means that you need to organize a Skype, a Zoom, you talk through WhatsApp, you need to, but you are very clever, much more IT than me, that's for sure. You will find a way to talk. And as I said, you can use the background documents that you have. You can be more or less inspired by the videos that we will put online that are introducing the themes. And then you can build these 5 minutes. It can be a PowerPoint presentation. It can be whatever you want. It can be a mystica, a music. It can be your way to introduce the topic. And you are totally free in that sense. We are not giving you a framework, a scheme. We can give you also a kind of PowerPoint that you can fill in, but it's also really, we want to give you also the possibility to express your creativity. Is important because it's what we want. So we saw what is introduction. Then rapporteur. That is a very delicate role, because the rapporteur will be the one that will bring the outcome of the workshop to the webinar in September. So it's extremely important that the workshop that we end with has a conclusion. This is why I say we really need to work in those 3 hours. Because at the end, we need to have at least some draft conclusions. And it will be for sure the role of the facilitator to help you also to concretize something. But we really need to put our effort there because it's so complicated. And we have only 3 hours, but you have a lot of experience. So the rapporteur will be the one that then will talk, will share, and will present the outcome of the workshop in the webinar that we will have in September. Then who are the web browser? Well, indeed, you have some background documents. You have the video, but there is a lot. And when I say a lot, it's really a lot of document on the World Wide Web. And we need really to give you the opportunity to see what is around. Also because we are giving you a view, an interpretation of those themes, but we are not binding you in that. You need to have really a look. So it's extremely important that you do for your working group. So those people that have this role, they can browse, they can start to browse from now on and start to look for those kind of documents that can be supportive documents that we can use in the following activities. Then there is this role that it's difficult, but it's extremely important, that are the note takers. Everything has to be reported. And the note taker have a central role in that sense, because they need to really give us the opportunity to, through the notes that we made, that can support, because we will have a time of work also between the different workshop. So it will be important to have all the note takers totally involved. Indeed, the note taker will be supported by the official note taker of the youth forum. So you don't have to be worried about language, about you can take your notes in your national language. That is not really an issue, because anyhow the official report will be done in English, but we need that in the group. We have somebody that really can, also because we want you also to be very active, and especially the note taker will play a very important role during the second hour of the workshop. So in that sense, let's make this clear. So don't worry about the language. No one will make you an exam in English, although because I will never pass that exam, so I will never ask you to do that kind of exam. So we are not asking you to have official note taking, but it's extremely important someone that keeps a bit the track of what we are saying. So as is 5:23, so we try to stay on time. I will stop here. In terms of the methodology, I hope it was not too boring. Now it's your turn to ask or make some suggestions. We are totally open to your suggestion, or immediately highlight problems on the roles or even on the group composition. Having in mind that those group composition are quite balanced, so to make bigger change is not so simple, but also because there is an issue of gender and so on. But we are open. So now is your turn. Thank you.
Maybe I can give you a little bit of support, Andrea, here. I see Tommy has his hand raised. So please, Tommy, you have the floor.
Hello again. I just wanted to say maybe it's a good idea for you guys, the organization, to group up the information from WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, whatever everyone wants to give. So it's easier for us to connect to each other now, because I understand that I'm going to have to connect to other people. And maybe if you could group up that information, it would be good. I don't know, it's just a suggestion.
Indeed, Tommy, is a very good suggestion. I think we have a specific issue that I think for privacy, we don't have all your mobile phones. So we need to be authorized by you that you send to Raluca your mobile phone and you say that it's okay for you to be in a WhatsApp group. Because indeed, as you know, then your mobile number will be shown to everybody. So we would love to do this tool, but we need to have your authorization, and you need to send to Raluca as soon as possible your mobile phone number, if you agree.
Very good suggestion indeed. I will put in the chat here, and you already have in your inboxes in the different messages. You have an email address that was created especially for the forum. It's called youthforum@ecoruralis.ro. I will put it in the chat as well, and just pay attention to the messages that we sent. It is indicated in many of them, this youthforum@ecoruralis.ro. If you wish to be added in a WhatsApp group with your mobile phone number, and certainly we will put in contact the people that we propose to have different roles for the different thematic workshops, so that they can work. They will also receive background documents and also some videos made by the experts who are presenting a little bit the thematic workshop. And I see the hand risen also by Eva. Please, Eva, you have the floor.
Yes, I was wondering if it was possible also to receive all the background info and the videos on all the other workshops that we're not participating in, because I would be curious to read about, you know, just the background and the teams that even though I'm not participating, I would be interested in receiving those as well.
Absolutely, this is possible, and certainly we'll take this into account. We were foreseeing to send the documentation and on Monday, and we can do that. We can send it to everybody, even if you're not participating in a specific working group. In the same time, we didn't want to overwhelm everybody with all the documentation. We can also upload on a Dropbox all the information and just send you the link to everybody, and you can manage to find the information for your specific group, or if you want to navigate into the background information of the other working groups, you are also free to do so. You will be free to do so as well. I see a comment in the chat from Natasha. Natasha, would you like to take the floor to mention your comment from the chat? So if not, I'm reading your comment. You said that maybe a document that everybody can give all the information, name, country, social profile. Oh. That's also a possibility that we can do for the ones who want to share with the entire group their personal data.
Yes, having in mind that you for sure receive the bond document where you have the profile of each of you, that it's quite good because you have shared that. And indeed, what is maybe missing, it's only the phone number for the reason that we said before.
While we're waiting for other questions, I just wanted to rectify an information that I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar. I said that the coordinator of the project is the Wageningen University. Indeed, the Wageningen University is a partner of the project, but the coordinator is the Coventry University from the UK, not the Wageningen University from the Netherlands. So I just wanted to rectify that because we're recording, and this was an important information that should be on record. Peter wants to have the floor. Please, Peter.
Just one question for the group number one. Is it possible to make the meeting a little bit later than at 2 p.m.? Perhaps in the evening or something like that. Can you hear me?
Yes, and thank you very much for the suggestion. When we planned the hour of the call, we took into consideration that in the middle of the day, usually farmers take a break because at least in this period of time, in many areas, there is a drought, there's a very sunny weather, and people don't work in the middle of the day. They prefer to work in the morning sessions or later in the afternoon. And also we had to keep in mind that we have different time zones in Europe, and the best time we could have was 2 p.m. CET time, which for the UK is 1 hour earlier, or for different countries in Eastern Europe, it's 1 hour later. So if we put it too later, then it could overlap some working sessions in the farms. For example, I work in the afternoon after 6 p.m., 7 p.m. I go back to the fields, and in the morning until 11, 12, I'm again in the fields. So that's what we took into consideration. And I hope that this is a time schedule that you can work with. And I see in the chat a comment from Mariana Seremet from Republic of Moldova. Mariana, would you like to take the floor to say what you commented in the chat?
Yes, it's just a technical point. I don't have WhatsApp because my phone is a Nokia, a very old Nokia. So all the communication, it's only on the computer. That means Skype or Facebook for me. Sorry for this inconvenience, but it's just for me to be sure that I will be keep in touch with all the information. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's not an inconvenience at all. And so maybe beside the phone number, it will be good also to collect your Skype address so we can have several ways to connect. That it's a very important things that you said. And in terms of timing, we know very well, as Ramona said, that in Europe there are many farming systems, and it will be very, very, very complicated to have an agreement between the different farming systems. And we try to find a time zone, let's say, of the day that would more or less put together most of those different farming systems. But I can understand that it's complicated. So this is why we are really almost begging you to do a small effort, because we know that it will impact in your day in a very severe way, but we try to make it something that is useful. So we ask you a small sacrifice, but let's try to do it. Grazie, Peter.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to say that I see another comment here from Jens suggesting that we could make Facebook groups. And I would like to ask my colleague Raluca to please go back to the PowerPoint presentation where we talk about the instruments that we created for you for communication. And we do have actually a Facebook group page where you can join and engage in discussions even beyond the bond project, of course. And the link was for the Facebook group was also provided to you in the previous emails that you received when we sent to you the initial invitation to the entire series of webinars and workshops. But we can continue to resend it again. And I see that already my colleague Raluca made this comment on the chat, clarifying that we do have a Facebook group already made.
Question for all of you. It's clear the role, the description of the role, or you have, because now you know what will be the role in the workshop. You all know your role. It's clear for all of you what is asked to you. And also you agree, because you can say also, no, I don't know. I don't want to be the rapporteur. I don't want to introduce I mean, we are not in a prison.
Yeah, maybe I could ask my colleague Raluca to go back to the page from the PowerPoint presentation where we actually stopped before we started taking questions and answers. So, and I see again a comment in the chat from Carl, who says, no problem for me. Thank you very much, Carl, for your support. And if you allow me, Andrea, to keep supporting you in the facilitation here. I see Ninoslav who wants to take the floor. Please, Ninoslav.
Yeah, hello. Well, first of all, I would like just to give my compliments to the facilitators, to Ramona and Scola, because I think you are very qualified to do this do this thing. So I was hoping to meet in person. I think everybody would agree, but since the circumstances are like this, I think this also would be a lot of fun and interesting workshops. And a second thing I would like to say, yeah, this rapporteur, I agree, I would like to do it. I'm good for it. Just maybe some clarification, a little bit more. I think you already said something. Thanks.
We're really happy for your confirmation that the proposal that we made for you to have an active role is accepted. And thank you very much for the appreciations. And last but not least, I can certainly tell you that we are extremely sorry for not being able to organize the forum in Romania physically. We actually planned a lot of elements, a lot of activities for all of you. We initially planned the forum to take place in a wonderful village in the center of Transylvania, next to the Făgăraș mountains, in the Carpathian mountains. We actually had a lot of preparatory activities that we did with the people from the villages. Everybody was planning to contribute to the food, to make the food for all of you. There were a lot of wonderful things that we prepared, but unfortunately we just have to face the reality that we're living extraordinary times, and we're just hoping that one day you all are going to be able to visit each other's countries and maybe come to Romania. We're going to always be open for you for sure. Andrea, I'm giving it back to you, the facilitation.
Yes, and first of all, I think that we are missing one role for Jens, because I think you don't have any role. So we will find a role for you in the different workshop. In the meanwhile, I want to go back to the rapporteur role. If you have in mind the sequence of all the different events of this forum, now we are in our first webinar where we are talking only about methodology, although some interesting thing already came out. Then we have next week that we will have 4 workshops, one after the others. Then we will have a long break in August. And then in September, we will have another webinar. And this webinar, it will be extremely important because it's the webinar that will put together the different outcomes of the thematic workshop, so we can arrive finally to have a common, let's say, declaration, manifesto, something that we all share. And I repeat, it's your opinion of this group of young, fantastic people from Europe. You have, it's not that you represent a country, an organization. It's something that it comes really from you. So we are somehow we have a freedom to be also a bit creative, because we really need, I think, in the national and international debate and arena, we need more voice from the youth. So this is this is something that we are trying to do, to give you more voice, to give you more opportunity, to bring your voice where the place where it should be heard. So the rapporteur, coming back, the rapporteur is the one that will take the conclusion of the thematic workshop to the webinar, because then the webinar has its own methodology, and the methodology of the webinar will start with the rapporteur of each, the 2 rapporteurs of each working group that will introduce the outcome of the thematic workshop. So this is the role of the rapporteur. Hope that now it's more clear.
I just wanted to add one more thing, just to reassure the people who were assigned different roles, that we are going to assist you and put you in contact with your colleagues. And we're going to provide you all the necessary information. Come back to us if you need any extra information. Write to the email that we provided to you, the youthforum@ecoruralis.ro, or where we are going to certainly respond to you, Raluca, myself, Andrea. So don't worry, we're going to try to take care of you as best as we can.
And hence, from Belgium, I would propose, as you are foreseen in group 2, if you can support as a web browser.
What's the role of the web browser? I forgot it.
No, it's normal, because the role of the web browser is because it's essential in the sense that we are giving you some background documents and also a video as elements that you can use to support the information in the workshop. But indeed, there is much more. There is much more about the theme that we are addressing. For example, on the theme that you are the workshop on access to market, there is giant quantity of documents and interesting experience, and it will be nice if you can, as a web browser, so looking in the web, experience that can be interesting to share. So the role of the web browser is to expand the research of the different experience and documents linked to the specific theme of the workshop. Is that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank you. And for sure, I mean, you and all of you have a lot of experience. So you know that in the web, you can surf with Google, but you can also use a lot of your personal experience to also outreach things that for us are difficult to know. So this is why we really want to use your specific knowledge. Remember that this is a place where your knowledge is really appreciated. We will never have a top-down approach here. Your knowledge is central along all the forum, and we want that this sharing of your knowledge is really the central part of all the work that we will do. For sure, there will be experts. For sure, you will learn about other people, but we really want that your knowledge is something that will come out and will be very useful for everyone.
I see Mariana who wants to ask a question.
Yes, Ramona, thank you. So just a little bit of clarification for the role of the first one, the presentation. So in the case of the third workshop about natural resources, so it's about Moldova and France, if I'm not wrong, because the PowerPoint changed. So what exactly we need to prepare? So it's both to present the cases from France and Moldova and to present it to the rest of the group, or what exactly should we do? Or should we look for what's happened actually on the legislation? Or yeah, this is a confusion for me. It's not clear. Thank you.
So the role of the two person that will introduce is, as I said, it's in that sense you are quite free. You can start from an experience, no, that it's linked to access to land. So you can share a struggle. You can share something that you lived, or for sure you can make an introduction more general. We are sending you some documents. In the specific, you have a very interesting documents on access to land in Europe, Declaration on Peasant Rights, and so on. And then you have a video that has been done by Ramona, so you can inspire yourself from the documents that we sent, that we will send in the video. And for sure, on the base of that, and on the base, I repeat, of your specific experience, and in this sense, I think that you will share with Grégoire from France, and you will decide how to run those 5 minutes. For sure, don't talk about topics that has nothing to do with the theme, but then, and in fact, I said you can do also a Mystica. You can you can run also some theater if you want, talking about access to land. You can be very creative in that sense. We just need you to let us enter in the topic in the way that you think it's more useful for all the group. Is that more clear?
Yeah, it's much more clear. Thank you.
Thank you. And this means that in the specific case, I think that you should start to share with, if I remember well, Grégoire, no?
Grégoire, okay. Fine, thank you.
So please expect all these documents and videos on Monday. The documents are prepared. We're just working on the finalization of the videos for you. Don't worry, you will have time. You don't have to do something that is academic under no circumstances. And as Andrea said, base it on your experience. Ask for support from your colleagues who did a bit of web research. And it's going to be greatly appreciated, that's for sure.
Ooh. Yes, I think okay, Maria, for example, Maria asked us to shift first and third topic. That can be feasible if you want to. And we will come back to you on that. So if there are no other questions and everything is more or less clear, I think that Ramona can wrap up and do our final remarks for today.
Oh, thank you so much. I think that I'm very confident hearing all of you, reading first of all your profiles that we published on the Bond website, hearing you about your personal, practical, but also different advocacy or political experience that you have. I'm very confident that we're going to have extremely high quality workshops, and the outcome is going to be a very valuable one. I'm sure we're going to be proud. I was extremely excited how vivid the discussions were, and to hear you all from all the corners of Europe. It was extremely exciting. I have not been so far in such a exciting webinar so far, and I have participated to many throughout this pandemic. I'm just leaving this call with a very positive vibe, and I hope you all are going to take this positiveness and have a great weekend, and really looking forward to meet all of you next week and have quality discussions all together. I'm very curious about your knowledge and just eager to share whatever little knowledge I have with you. And I would like to finally thank Tura Luca, first of all, who ensured the wonderful technical support very smoothly. And I would like to also thank Yelena, who has been interpreting in the interpretation booth in Serbian. Thank you so much, Yelena, for being with us and for continuing to be with us in the moments where we're going to need interpretation next week. And thank you all once again for taking your time and being here. Thanks a lot.
Then thank you, and let's see all of us all together. It will take some time, but all of you in next week we will have a smaller group, very effective, and for sure, Maria from Estonia, we will come back to you to see if we can move you in a group as you prefer, and we want really to make this youth forum lively, although it is online, but I'm sure that it will be very lively. We will find out the way to meet once. Have a fantastic day from my side. Ciao.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye to all of
Ciao.
you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye, best.
Okay, so but we lost Andrea. Yelena, we cannot hear you now. No. No, you cannot. And you cannot join. You cannot join on the English, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that's. But I don't hear you also on the other one. Everything was fine. Unfortunately, Adriana was not here. The problem is that I don't have a telephone number of hers to check. But I will write to her right now and ask for a telephone number in order to better support her and join. She is, let's say, maybe, but no, I don't know. Because she said she doesn't have Skype and so on, or maybe she's in a more remote area, so maybe she has technical problems. So I'll write to her, and anyway, by next Friday, I will try also to check with the Serbian girl, because she's from Montenegro. So thank you very much. Let me know in an email, because I cannot hear you now, if some problems from our side were. And also taking care of the invoice, if you can make it, and so on. And at first in the first email, I told you about the first 2 webinars because they were right now very tight. But as you have seen in the presentation, there is the one on the 31st, also in September, sorry, that was not decided yet. So we would like to collaborate with you for that one too. So I don't know how it is better. you can issue an invoice now. How it is better from our point of view. There is money in the project. There's no problem. So yeah, so this thing with the Croatian and the Bosnians, we can also tell them, hey, check it. Yes, so the other girl didn't tell me. Her name is Erna Memic. I don't know, maybe you know her or not. No, okay. I asked her if she would like to join on the 31st or not, because I have talked previously with her, but I guess she will come back to me this weekend. She couldn't join today just because she had her wisdom tooth removed. So I guess, yeah. So just to be fair, I would wait for an answer from her, but in the meantime, if you know someone, yeah, yeah, perfect then. So yeah, from my side, you can issue already the invoice and send it to me, and my colleague Ramona can pay for both of the sessions already, and then make another payment for September, let's say, to see exactly what is going on with those participants. Yeah, exactly. Great, then. Thank you again very much, and glad to meet you. And yeah, it's good every time to widen the network of interpreters. And who knows, some other occasions afterwards, because we do work more in Eastern Europe. So yeah, whenever we we might need then to contact. Great, so may you have a great weekend. And then talk next week anyway. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao Jelena, ciao.